Hey, what's going on, everybody? You know who this is. This is That Dysfunctional Gamer, and I have finally hit 90 on the beta. It's going to be a little bit short-lived, unfortunately. It took me longer than expected, mostly because I didn't really play beta as much as I planned to. But, first thing I decided to do was go ahead and queue up for Raid Finder. And, as luck would have it, I ended up getting the last boss of... what's this place called again? The, Terrace of Endless Spring. And this boss was awesome. I freaking loved it. I mean, there's a bunch to look after. You have to really pay attention. And also, I make a mistake here and there, because I'm like trying to figure out how fast that energy spawns. But basically, he builds up energy at a very steady rate, and it seems really fast too, to be honest. So what happens is every time his agility, or excuse me, his energy gets to 100, he does this breath. And if you're not standing in that conal area, you get feared, you take damage, and you basically get, screwed. So the great thing as a monk, right now I'm DPSing because I didn't realize that it was going to scale up my gear. If I'd have known that, I probably would have just queued as a tank, just so I could learn how to tank this fight. But the cool thing about being a tank is that I get to, excuse me, I get to roll or do my freaking launching kick ability, my flying serpent kick, to quickly get back in there. And here's the fun part too. Is like, at first I freaked the hell out. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But it teleports you to fight these extra bosses, these little mini bosses. And what happens here? You have to DPS the crap out of them. It's basically like doing a mini 5-man, kinda. As if you notice, there's 5 of us here. 1 tank, a healer, and 3 DPS. So it's basically like fighting a heroic dungeon boss. And you have to gather up those orbs because they give you buffs. And then you just keep on DPSing this guy down. Now, he dishes out damage pretty much sporadically, so what I end up actually doing is I use my touch of karma, because any damage that I take is reflected back to him, which is really quite useful. And it doesn't really help the healer per se, but it still does more damage. So say if I'm running away and he's shooting me or something, if I'm running to get an orb, I'm still doing damage to him. And it's pretty cool. I mean, and then you get back. After you kill him, you have this buff that basically makes you immune to fear. So you don't have to worry about getting into the conal area for the breath that he does. And I almost die a couple times because the damage output, is, considering that it is Raid Finder, is pretty insane. And now I'm back in the action. Boom. Pounded biatches. Yeah. Now, one thing about these ads is you have to hit them from behind. Yeah, hit it from behind. Anyway, they don't take any damage. I realized that at first. I was like, wait, why isn't it taking damage? Then I remembered that the raid leader, being a good raid leader that he is, or she is, whatever, said you have to be behind the ads in order to hurt them. So, being that in this case right here, I didn't have to run back into the conal area, which is cool, because that means more damage. Now, this fight does take a freakishly long time, if you notice. I mean, granted, you're scaled to 470 eye level, which, in the future you probably actually have more eye level. And even though I only have leveling gear currently, I'm boosted up a little bit, just so I can function. And it's basically a lot of it's rinse and repeat, but the way this fight is done is I thought it was cool because it makes you have to pay attention. You really need to set your focus on the boss, because if you're killing the ads, you don't know what energy level he's at. And right here I actually get screwed because right here my wife had just called me on the phone, and I wasn't paying attention because I was paying attention to the phone call, and I got screwed. But whatever, not a big deal. Didn't kill me. It's just frustrating at best. And yeah, you just keep on pounding these hoes. Just destroy it. And then as you are able, you do damage to the boss. You know, if there's no ads, you get back in that conal area. Well, actually, you can get behind him. You know, especially if you're melee, so that way he's not parrying attacks and shit. But you still want to make sure that you're in front of the boss. I generally just stay in front of the boss anyway because at least right now while I'm learning, just because it makes more sense to me. I mean, I already have to move enough as it is with this crap, you know, going on. Because these ads are basically endless. I swear it feels like they don't stop coming. But, you know, it's whatever. I mean, I thought the mechanics were fresh and fun. You know, it's something that I've never seen before in World of Warcraft that I can think of. I mean, it's especially the fact that it teleports you to go and fight. You know, other ads. I can't really think of anything. I mean, I didn't really play Vanilla WoW. I didn't get to raid in BC, so I'm not really familiar with all those fights. But the idea that it, you know, takes you off with a 5-man group to go and pwn a little mini boss, to me is pretty cool. I'm not really sure what the significance behind them is, because to me that's just like, you know, that's less damage that the boss is taking. So I don't see. But luckily it's only 5 people. And it is a long fight. As you can tell, this fight took us about 11 minutes, a little over 11 minutes. Granted, you know, it is Raid Finder, so most people suck. I know my DPS probably wasn't all that great because I don't have the greatest gear. I don't have any set bonuses or anything. But, you know, as we all know, if you go to a Raid Finder on live, you see freaking people that still don't know how to do Dragon Soul, and they're doing like 5k DPS, or they're just AFK. That's one major issue that's really frustrating. But here, people are actually trying, and it's probably because it's, you know, fresh content. I mean, Dragon Soul's been out for what, 9-10 months now, and this is, you know, fresh stuff. This is still new. This is just, but granted, it's beta. I haven't personally looked to see if any of the fight mechanics are different on normal. I imagine it just will hurt more, of course. So obviously people are gonna have to. You'll probably see a lot more deaths. Our first run at this boss, we actually died because the raid leader forgot to ready check, and he just immediately started the fight, and yeah, we got screwed. Very quickly, we got screwed. But this time it was very smooth. There was no real deaths. Got to pew pew, and that's about it. I mean, and I also did a little bit of digging to find out exactly what I would have to worry about as a tank. So for you tanks out there, he does this deal where every 3rd or 4th attack he thrashes you. Every 4th attack he hits 3 times. So it's basically one of those spike damage situations where you want to make sure that you have, you know, something popped. Like, you know, if you're DK, you have IBF or something, you know, pop one of your cooldowns, and also make sure you hit your shields if you're a shield tank. In this case, for monks, I would want to make sure that I have elusive brew up, and that I'm not staggering any damage, and also, of course, my shuffle. So that's pretty simple, at least. But yeah, it's fair. I mean, at first I was like, oh my god, is this boss ever going to die? Sheesh. The boss actually died while I was DPSing one of the side bosses. Yeah, there was one where I actually did legit make a mistake because I wasn't paying attention. Oh, there I go again. It catches you off guard too. It's like, all out of nowhere, you're just like, whoa, where am I going? But you know, it's especially nice when it happens during a breath, because then it's like you don't have to worry about it. But there was one where I actually did my flying freaking serpent kick into the light. I think that was this one actually. I either rolled or did my serpent kick, and as soon as I got into the conal area, boom, I got freaking teleported. Or actually, I wouldn't even call this teleported, more like transported. But the boss actually ends up going down while we're fighting this guy, Cheng Kung, whatever his name is. Yeah, a corrupted panda. Poe would be very upset. He is not a kung fu panda. But yeah, I mean, pretty simple, but it definitely requires you to pay attention. And, you know, which is, I know, difficult for a lot of people. I mean, shit, people can't even press a damn button on Ultraxian. How hard is that? I mean, all you have to do is press a freaking button. Not difficult at all. And boom, down he goes like a 2-bit hooker on a Saturday night. And I get a glorious bag full of jack shit. I swear. I mean, really gonna give me gold on beta? I mean, come on. That's a slap in the face. Like that gold means anything. There's a whopping 28 gold. Yeah, it's my repair bill. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. And this was the Sha of Fear, the Terrace of Endless Spring. Hope you all have a wonderful day.